And so, welcome back to the Cherno Journo channel. The next interview that I have today is with Christian Bretz from the DDay Hollywood channel. If you haven't checked out this channel before, definitely do so. They do the live action DayZ videos and provide some much needed levity in the otherwise very serious business that we have trying to survive here in Chinaris. And of course, Christian being from Hollywood, we couldn't just meet the regular way. He had to helicopter in as a typical Hollywood star would, I guess. So as he's going to land in here from the Huey, we'll just go through quickly the interview. Christian is telling us the story of his first car. Now, as he says in his own words, you may not have remembered, but cars were once very serious business in the early days of DayZMod. This is, of course, pre the servers with 10,000 cars and 20 million helicopters all over the place. This was the old public hive, 30 cars on a server, and you're damn lucky if you found one. So let's hear Christian's story about the first time that he did find a car and what happened then. Okay, Christian, well, thank you very much for interviewing with the Cherno Journo. We're over here in the hills just north of Berezino. And I hear you have a story about the first time you found a car in DayZ and how it led you to a very sort of interesting situation here at the hospital. Would you like to tell me about that?
I do, yeah. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Very well. Feeling very safe with your muscle in the background and a little bird just covering us.
Yes, apparently we've got some backup here. So yeah, so this story begins back really when the game first came out, and I think it was maybe about the first month it was out, and I don't know if anyone remembers, but back then the vehicles were very difficult to come by, and everybody was hiding them in the north in the forest, and we searched for weeks to find a vehicle, and it was just like this big quest. And one day a group of 4 of us got split up, and there was 2 people separated from me and my friend Jason, and we were on TeamSpeak, and out of nowhere my friend Ben is walking through the forest, and he goes, "Oh my god, I think I found a car in the distance," and we start freaking out and get super excited, and turns out he actually really did find a car, and it was at someone else's camp, kind of near Vershnoi. And so he sneaks up, they get in the car, they steal it, pick me and my friend Jason up, and for the rest of the day we're riding around in this red car, and we're just as happy as can be, because now all of a sudden we have transportation. And again, like at this time, this was the first car we had ever seen. And so we played into the night. It was by the time the event, if you will, happened. The sun was coming up in my room in real life and in the game, and we were like, you know what? Well, maybe it's time to go to bed. The sun's coming up, so let's do one last run, and we'll go to the hospital and get some bandages and stuff. And so we pull into Berezino, or whatever you want to call it over here, and we drive up and we go into the supermarket first. And my friend, there's 3 of us, me, my friend Jason, and Ben, and we're looting the supermarket and everything. And Jason and I decide, okay, well, we're gonna run over to the hospital. Ben, why don't you meet us there? So he's like, okay. So Jason and I run over to the hospital. We're getting blood bags out of the boxes and all that. And out of nowhere, a bullet gets shot and shoots Jason in the head, and he goes down. And then right after that, I get shot, but instead I think I got hit in the leg because my leg broke, and I went down, and I yell, "Oh my god, I've been shot," like as loud as I possibly can at like 5:30 in the morning. And a side note to this story is that at the time my roommate was an ex-Marine, And he said that the next day, he said that he had heard me in my room, in the middle of his sleep, and he woke up thinking I was actually being shot because I had yelled it so loud and so screaming bloody murder kind of thing. But then he realized, oh, Christian's probably just playing a game. And so after I get shot, Ben is still in the supermarket. He comes around and sees the guy that shot us, kills him, right? And he's like, okay, cool, he killed the gunman or whatever. And as that's happening, and he kills that guy, he turns around and he hears the car start up and drive down the street and around the corner and then into the distance, and he goes running after the car. But to no avail, he was not able to save the car, and so these two bandits had totally set us up, and stole our car, and it was.
Oh, we got a zombie on us.
Is there a zombie coming? Oh shit! Here we go.
All right.
And so. And so it was that organic moment of that thing happening and it being such an emotional event for us to be getting our car, this super important thing that was so important to us to have it ripped from us, the day we got it. It was that moment that really kind of made DayZ, what it is for me, because you can't get that experience really in any other game, because you don't value like your items and your life as much, and it was just so exciting that like I was just the next day I was just telling people about this thing that had happened.
And so when you saw your car that not so much you'd worked hard on, but you did have an attachment to now, driving off in the distance, what were your thoughts? What did you feel like doing at that point?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was like we were really heartbroken, and I remember thinking that I had never killed anyone in the game up until this point, but at that moment I was like, I really want to kill these guys. It was like they ambushed us and stole our car, and it was like there was some legitimate emotion of anger at that point, and the only reason we didn't go hunting for these guys was because it was 5:30 in the morning and the sun was coming up, and I'm sure some of us had to work that day.
So circumstances had been different. You would have definitely chased after them and killed them if you could have.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And an interesting ending to this story is that about a month later, we became friends with this other group of players on the TeamSpeak server, and one day we're all just kind of playing, hanging out, and over the TeamSpeak, I hear one of our new friends say like, "Oh yeah, that's just like that time we killed those guys and stole their red car." And when I heard that, I was like, "Wait a second, wait. What did you just say? What kind of car was it? And where did you do this?" And it turns out that these guys we had befriended were the same people that had stole our car. And so we had obviously a very good laugh about that, and we were able to kind of hear the other side of the story. And it turned out they had a good time. They had a good time with our car after that happened.
So no hard feelings in the end.
Yeah, I mean, because we had already been playing with them for a few weeks, so like at that point I was kind of like, all right, I'll let it slide. And, I think at that point we had found many other cars and everything, but at the time it was a big deal.
And so, what is it, do you think, about DayZ that makes people value so much, not just like these objects that are really, just in-game items like cars and guns and all that, that they will actually go around and kill someone to protect it or to take them?
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to the fact that it wasn't just handed to you. I think in real life, if people are just handed things, they tend to not appreciate them. you know, whereas someone that actually has to work and earn something, they value it much more. And this game, you know, instills that type of behavior where it's like you really do have to, you know, put in a lot of time and a lot of work to gather these items for yourself. You know, unless you're a hacker.
Alrighty, Christian. Well, thank you very much for being tuned with the Cherno Journo. That was great. This is the Cherno Journo. Out.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on.
No, it's a pleasure. And as Christian makes his exit here in the Little Bird, I just thought he had some really great things to say about what makes DayZ so special initially for a lot of people who played. It wasn't particularly the engine or the style, it was the fact that you had to work very hard for every single thing in the game. For a gun, for anything to survive, you had to find food, and obviously all the risk that's involved in that. So I know a lot of people always say, you know, you're either getting bored with the game or something, and you know, so server hives now have lots of vehicles and starting loadouts. No, that's fine, but I always say if you want to get your PvP on, play Wasteland. That's what I do, because DayZ really should be that vanilla experience of working hard to find every bit of equipment. This is the Cherno Journo. Out.